communities that we serve are better communities because of the information that we can bring forward. In Myrtle Beach, we have over 11 million visitors every year, so from a state's economic impact, it's huge.
As a family-owned business that has been in South Carolina for several generations, moving across the entire state makes perfect sense.
Though we've diversified our business portfolio over the years, we still have our roots and our legacy firmly in journalism. A strong, well-run daily newspaper operated by good journalists is important to the community.
But we're committed to being local, and I think that's what sets us apart.
I think that our newsroom does a tremendous job serving this community. To get the feedback from our readers that they think we are doing a good job means the world to me.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. I'm PJ Browning, President and Publisher of the Post and Courier, and we are very excited to have you on board with us today to meet our team in Myrtle Beach. Just want to give you a little bit of a background. The Post and Courier, the Georgetown Times, and the South Strand News have long been a part of South Carolina's journalism, and we're really excited to be able to extend our offerings on journalism with a new team that we've built out and really expanded. Many of you know we have been in the Myrtle Beach market and certainly the Georgetown area for many years. But within Myrtle Beach, we do feel like there's a lot more opportunities for some what we'll call hyper-local reporting, and that is what's going to be our focus with this team. Joining the team will also be the projects team out of the Post and Courier in Charleston, where we focus on statewide issues. A couple of examples would be Till Death Do Us Part series and certainly Minimally Adequate that address the education system in South Carolina. And as well, we have the what we call the statewide team, or the legislative team that covers the State House in Columbia with a really strong reporting team. And so we'll have access to all of that reporting within the, I guess, the realm of the Post and Courier and what we'll have to offer. Leading that charge in our newsroom, very happy to have Mitch Pugh on the phone today with us. And Mitch is our executive editor, and he will speak a little bit about the initiatives and then introduce a very talented local editor that we've brought on to our team. So with that, Mitch, I'll turn it over to you.
Hello. For some reason, my video is not working, but I'll thank you, PJ, for that introduction. As PJ said, we're thrilled to launch the Post and Courier Myrtle Beach in coordination with the Georgetown Times. With Myrtle Beach journalists reporting on Myrtle Beach and Grand Strand issues from the Grand Strand, we believe, as PJ said, we can bring you the best the Post and Courier's news tradition has to offer, alongside in-depth, quality, but relentlessly local community reporting there in the Grand Strand. So we're really excited and happy about that. As PJ mentioned, we have a great tradition there with the Georgetown Times, and are really excited to work with that team to bring this project home to you. We do hope that you'll consider becoming a Post and Courier subscriber. We have some print plus digital and digital only options. On the digital side, for just 56 cents a day, you can get everything that PJ was talking about: in-depth, meaningful coverage of the Grand Strand, along with everything the Post and Courier has to offer, including that statewide investigative and watchdog journalism and project work, State House coverage, and comprehensive political news, especially in this year. We have an election year in front of us. Business news from across the state. We know how important that is to the state of South Carolina and to everything that we do here, as well as all of our mobile apps, e-papers, and all of our digital products. All of that is bundled all together on the digital side, and we really encourage you to check all that out and become more familiar with that product. And again, all of that can be found at postandcourier.com/Myrtle Beach and postandcourier.com/Georgetown. So that's enough for me. Now I want to turn it over to the journalists that we've brought on board to help us spearhead this effort, and that's our local editor there in Georgetown and Myrtle Beach, Nick Masuda. So Nick, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you guys so much. And I can't even begin to explain how incredibly exciting this has been for me to jump from coast to coast. I'm coming from California, and to jump into an organization that has decided to invest in journalism and invest in the communities that we all live in. And to be a part of something like that, where so many news organizations are contracting throughout the United States, for the Post and Courier to really put an emphasis on growing alongside these communities within, especially Myrtle Beach, within South Carolina, to be a part of that is incredibly exciting for me. It's incredibly exciting to lead a staff that is so immensely talented that makes me look good every single day. And what was really important as we built out this staff over the last 6 to 8 weeks was that we're doing reporting from the ground here in Myrtle Beach, in Horry County, in Georgetown County. And it just by happenstance, we actually all are located in different areas throughout both counties. And so I know I've faced a lot of questions so far about, are you guys actually here reporting? And we are. We're the people that you'll see at the Piggly Wiggly. We're the people that you'll see at Costco in that long, long gas line. We're those same people. What's really cool is I'm personally in Conway. We have 2 reporters that are in Myrtle Beach, another one that is in Georgetown, another in North Myrtle Beach, and another one right next to the beach. So we're all over. So we actually feel what you feel and see what you see, which really leads to better journalism, because we're a part of it. We want to see our community impacted as well. And so through our journalism, we hope that you grow to trust us, and that you grow to really lean on us to make sure that we're your voice, that we're asking the questions that you want to have asked. But for the most part, this crew of 6 people really will be doing those question asking. And I am incredibly excited today to be introducing them, to give them a chance to introduce themselves. First up, I feel very fortunate that with the South Strand News and the Georgetown Times, I inherited a group of 3 reporters that really have helped us move the needle and really understood this audience and how it could become part of this bigger franchise. And so first up, I'd love to introduce our new courts reporter. He's been doing some big dives into there, Richard Keynes.
Hello, everyone. I'm happy to be here. Like I said, I was at the paper now for 2 years, so I've been in this community, and I still intend to report in this community as your course reporter. I tend to look at the bigger trends, and I want to get the facts, because that's what we need today is facts. I'm originally from the area. I do live in North Myrtle Beach, so if you're out in North Myrtle Beach area and you see me, please say hello. I'm a graduate of Arizona State University, and I've been here at the beach back for about 4 years now. So I'm committed to this community, and I'm looking to get out all of your stories. Nice meeting you.
Thank you, Richard. It's incredible to have you on board. As part of building out this team, we also brought in some new folks, and thankfully we were able to connect with folks that really had a lot of experience in this area, that really knew this area and want to be here. They want to be a part of the growth that this community needs and that it's been asking for. And first up, he started a week before me, and he really impressed me from the get-go. It's been breaking news left and right. Absolutely loves local government, which is going to be incredible for our readers. So Tyler Fleming.
Hello, I'm Tyler Fleming. I'm from Random in North Carolina. Came to Myrtle Beach a lot as a kid, and then was happy to work here when I graduated from UNC Chapel Hill. As Nick said, I'm a big local politics nerd. I really enjoy looking at local politics from a policy issue, from the policy perspectives, and really, so much of what's decided in the county council chambers and the city council chambers here affects your life pretty directly, from roads being built, from infrastructure improvements. So, recently, are you allowed to, shoot weapons in your backyard? Those are the kind of issues that I think, directly impact life and property in the Grand Strand, in Horry and Georgetown, both the more rural western parts and the more, populous and urban eastern parts. Coming from the rural South, I very much, my heart is with the more rural areas, but I also really love the opportunity to cover, the beach and the issues that not only affect the people that live here, the people who come here, and the people who really see Myrtle Beach as, part of their family tradition, as it kind of was for me. We came down every Labor Day. So I know how special this place is to so many people, and how special it is to me. And I think through good government accountability reporting, we can really make a difference for a lot of people. And we hope to show that off to you in the coming weeks and months.
Thank you, Tyler. And I think that, to kind of piggyback off of what Tyler was talking about, sometimes we have to ask the question that we didn't even know we needed to ask. And that's just being relentless. Mitch mentioned being relentless and relentless for our local community. And that's what we're going to stand for, is that if there's answers to be had, we're going to continue to ask the questions until we get those answers. Next up, Danny Kelly is in a unique position because the state of sports in the state is really unknown because of COVID-19. So with Danny, we're going to task him with not only keeping his eyes on the sports, but also really trying to help us gauge growth within this area. So Danny?
Hi, my name is Danny Kelly with the Post and Courier Myrtle Beach. I am the sports and growth reporter. I've covered sports now for about 2.5 years after I graduated from the University of South Carolina in 2018. I've covered, a lot of different things. I've covered the NCAA tournament. I've covered South Carolina Gamecocks football. So I have a lot of experience in a short amount of time in covering sports. I'll be covering Coastal Carolina. I'll be covering local high school sports. And I'll also be covering growth in the area when, to let you know what's going on with expansion, or in some cases, if it's, retracting. I'm just very excited to bring you the local aspect of those two areas. Thank you.
Thank you, Danny. And before we get to our next staffer, if you guys have questions you want to ask, feel free to jot those down in the Q&A section of this Hangout. And be more than happy, after we get through the introduction, be more than happy to answer questions. We have some that people have already sent in, but I encourage, if you have any further or things that are hitting you now, we'd love to hear from you. Next up is somebody who is really well known in the Myrtle Beach community, especially on the business and tourism side. Jay Rodriguez has been around, grew up in Chicago, has owned a bar, wears a tie every single day, inspired me to wear a tie today. He's got this electric personality, and I know you're going to grow to love him as he continues to expand our business coverage. So with that, Jay.
Thank you, Nick. I'm Jay Rodriguez. I was born and raised on the southwest side of Chicago. Went through Catholic schooling, and then went to school down at Southern Illinois University at Carbondale. Worked throughout the state of Illinois. Vacationed often in Myrtle Beach, and kind of fell in love with it in the mid 2000s. I began working for a daily publication in 2006 in Myrtle Beach. And then I really fell in love with it. I fell in love with the people, fell in love with the businesses, the culture, how eclectic Myrtle Beach can be. And so now I'm very proud to be working with the best news organization, the biggest news organization in the state of South Carolina, and covering an area I love. I'm doing business and tourism coverage, which are two subjects that I'm very passionate about. I love listening to people's stories and understanding their struggles, and but also communicating their tribulations too. So I look forward to getting out and meeting more folks, hearing more about what they're doing in the Grand Strand to make it through some of the tough times that we've been going through. So I look forward to meeting you and communicating those stories about tourists and locals alike.
Thank you, Jay. He's already hit the ground running. He's been doing some incredible stuff, really giving insight into how COVID-19 specifically has really impacted the area and what we're looking at moving into 2021 and beyond. And that insight is incredibly important as we build upon what business looks like moving forward. Another incredibly important beat that we've established and are going to be running really hard at is education. Especially with the health crisis that we are all going through, it's incredibly important that we keep our eye on the schools, whether that is at college level or high school, elementary. And we brought on a stellar reporter. She grew up here. She grew up in Pawleys Island, now lives in Myrtle Beach, knows this area better than all of us. And now she's really taking this beat on and really establish yourself as the go-to reporter on the education beat. So with that, Hannah Strong.
Thanks, Nick. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. I am thrilled to be part of this team. My name is Hannah Strong Oskin. I am the education reporter for the Grand Strand, covering K through 12 schools, as well as Coastal Carolina and Horry Georgetown Technical College. I am originally from Pawleys Island and grew up going to the Waccamaw schools. So it's really awesome to have a connection to the schools, and see familiar faces. I've already ran into some folks at the district office who were actually my principals growing up. So it's great to be back living in Myrtle Beach and reporting on such a unique area. After graduating from Winthrop University in Rock Hill, I went to work with a tri-weekly paper in Lancaster, South Carolina, where I was actually covering education. And then from there, I moved back to the Myrtle Beach area, covering breaking news. And so now I feel like I'm back to my roots, being on the education beat, and I really look forward to covering education on the Strand, especially during this pandemic.
Thank you, Hannah. As a reminder, if you guys have questions, and Kathleen, I see that you've asked one, I'm gonna definitely get to that question very soon. And we have an anonymous attendee that has also produced a question there. I'll make sure to get to those. But if you have questions, feel free. We're almost here at the end of our staff introductions, and we would love to answer your questions. But last but certainly not least, and he's taking on a very important beat that affects all of us, which is health. Kareem Wilson, he's hit the ground running. You've seen a lot of his bylines with our daily COVID updates, and we're going to be diving deeper and deeper into the issues that are impacted by COVID. With that, Kareem.
Thanks, Nick. Hey there, everyone. I'm Kareem Wilson. You may or may not know me. I was born and raised here in Georgetown, and it's nice being back here in Georgetown, seeing familiar faces and new faces. As he said, I'll be covering the health beat reporting. So I'll be covering everything from hospitals, pharmacies, your local COVID, daily updates, and everything in between. I look forward to just bringing you news and the whole truth, whether they're good or bad, to the community. And I just look forward to seeing and speaking with all of you. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you, Kareem. We really appreciate that. You know, as we wrap up that portion, I think it's so important to understand that investing in storytelling and investing in investigative journalism is so important now. And not that it hasn't been in the past, but really diving deep into the issues that impact our community is so important to our mission as a company, but also important to our mission as humans that are trying to help others. And so as we continue to grow this new product, we want to hear from you. I want to hear from you. I want to hear the constructive criticism. I want to hear the praise. I want to hear it all. And all of those things, we sit down. We actually just got done with an hour-and-a-half meeting as a staff to really think about how we can approach stories in different ways and how we can tie different beats together, because so much of what one person does impacts what others people do. So we are really trying to connect the dots within this community. And with Myrtle Beach growing so heavily and Georgetown having such a rich history, there's a way that we can tie all this together, which we've already done and will continue to do. So as we move forward, I really encourage you guys to stay connected to us. Send us ideas, all 7 of us. We want to hear them. As soon as we can be in person, we want to hear those ideas face to face. But for now, hit us up on email, give us a phone call, whatever you see fit, we want those ideas. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and just start hopping into some questions, and there's some really good ones in here. So let me scroll up here a little bit. Hold on one second. So from Anonymous, besides the Grand Strand, will you also be covering the Hammock Coast? Yeah, the entire coast is definitely within our coverage area, and we look forward to providing as in-depth coverage as we possibly can. Obviously, with 7 of us, we feel like we can get to a lot of different places and do a lot of different things. So yeah, we will definitely be doing that. Despite their proximity, and this is from another anonymous attendee, despite their proximity, Georgetown and Myrtle Beach might as well be different planets. The paper now seems to be more about Myrtle Beach. You're even calling it the Post and Courier Myrtle Beach. Georgetown readers seem to be left out in all of this. Can you tell us why that is? We had 2 newspapers here, Georgetown Times and the South Strand News, but now they're gone. This is of great concern here in Georgetown County. All right, so I think that one important aspect, and I do want to kind of do a little show and tell, is that very much on purpose, the Georgetown Times logo stayed alongside the Post and Courier logo because we have a deep commitment to the Georgetown community. As I just mentioned, most of our stories involve both Horry and Georgetown County. Some might just be Georgetown, some might just be Horry, but we're really trying to find how issues impact people across this entire region. So I know that the South Strand News has become the Post and Courier Myrtle Beach, but that's because we want to, sorry about that. That's the issue with technology. We want to make sure that we cover this entire area. We feel like Georgetown is just one small picture of this entire Grand Strand. And so we're definitely going to be focusing our efforts on telling the story all the way up and down. And Georgetown is a massive part of that. The history, I'm sitting here on the marina in Georgetown, looking out my window, slightly distracted. This area is incredible. Just driving up and down streets, just seeing the history behind this place, seeing the mill, and can't wait to see that thing back in action. I can't wait to visit it when it's back in action. To really see that, we would be doing ourselves a disservice if we didn't cover this community as we have for years and years and years. That's not going anywhere. Basically, what you're getting is that you're marrying into a bigger family. You're going to get more news. Not only are you going to get Georgetown, but you're going to get so much more. You're going to get Greenville. You're going to get Columbia. You're going to get Charleston. You're going to get Myrtle Beach. That way, the entire picture of this state, the state that impacts us all, we're going to give you it all. And I know I'm personally, when I can get 5 things for the price of 1, that's a win-win for me. From Kathleen, our daily letters to the editor coming back. We obviously love the feedback we get and the letters about things that impact you guys. I encourage you to send them in. You can send them to me personally at nmasuda@postandcourier.com. We do intend to put them back in print in our weekly edition. And if they become overwhelming and we don't have enough space for them all, we'll definitely bring them back as often as we can online. But we will definitely be sticking with the letters to the editor. Scrolling down to the next question, another anonymous. I would like to see some reporting on the conflictual relationship at CCU between athletics and academics. It's all about the money or lack of, and I'm not sure the news reporters can get documents, et cetera, to report these issues. So the one thing, and I've already seen this in action with Hannah, we're bulldogs. We are going to continue to ask questions and do our Freedom of Information Act requests to make sure that we get documents that are 100% public. And that's the only way we're going to be able to tell the real story. And so with CCU, with any other school, we're going to continue to ask those tough questions. We're going to continue to dive into topics where you see with other news organizations where maybe they're chasing the latest headline of something happening in the moment. We're taking a bigger, broader picture of issues and really thinking about how does this happening right now impact the overall. And so we are 100% going to be doing that with CCU. We actually had a great day out there yesterday asking a ton of questions just to understand exactly what the move-in process looks like. Obviously with COVID, everything has changed. And I will tell you from our first experience with that, CCU was more than happy to answer the questions that we had. And that spurred more and more conversations. So we will be very committed to developing that relationship and making sure that we hold them accountable, but also present their news. It's very important that we do both. You know, there's always going to be positive and negative in every single beat, and we want to make sure that we tell both sides of that story. Okay, from Janet. Missed the very beginning. Is this an independent newspaper? Why another newspaper? This is not an independent newspaper. We're obviously a part of the Post and Courier, which is based out of Charleston, so we're a new outlet. We are producing our own individual product on Wednesdays, a weekly product in print and a daily product online. And why another newspaper? This area, you know, it's really cool because I grew up with newspapers. I loved holding a tangible piece of paper. And this area seems to kind of follow that same logic. And so why not another newspaper? Why not invest in that? Why not making sure that the entire audience has something to be informed with? You know, so many people get their news from a daily website, and we obviously will provide that. But so many others love to have that opportunity to sit back with a cup of coffee in their rocking chair and really digest news. And so we want to provide both, and both products will continue to get better and better. All right, from Denise. Why are you all still able to tell our stories and put them on the front page? You know what? The best stories are always going to find their way to the front page. And so many of those stories are going to come from Georgetown. Others will come from Horry County. You never know where the best stories are going to come from coming into each week, but we're determined to tell them. So whatever impacts the communities the most, we're going to make sure on the front page. But what I always encourage is that the front page is just a teaser to 20 other pages of incredible information. And yes, obviously the 3 or 4 stories we put on the front page, we're putting an emphasis on, but I encourage you to read page by page, because the journalism that we produce, we have so much good stuff that not all of it can start on the front page. So make sure you go to page 3 and 4 and 5, and you'll truly be educated by all of this journalism. All right, from Mark. I know this is a news event, but can you tell us how to contact an ad department rep? Yes, please go online. I don't have that email off the top, and I do believe that Mitch or PJ will answer that question in the chat, so you have an exact email to get to. But customer service, ad service is 100%. We have that. We want to make sure you use it. We always want you to be get the information that you need. All right. From Anonymous. We are not the Grand Strand in Georgetown County. We are the Hammock Coast. As I said, we are 100% committed to both. And the reason why we added staff is that we want to be boots on the ground, a locally driven organization that tells a story of both counties. And we are very committed. And again, as I said, the reason why we kept the Georgetown Times as part of our logo on the front page is because we're very committed to that community. The Post and Courier and our overall vision is to create this news outlet that tells the entire story of the entire state. We're a part of that. And Myrtle Beach and the Horry County and Georgetown County are so important to telling that overall story. So our commitment, us 7, we're committed to making sure that we do things right here. And when we tell the stories of here, like I'll give you an example. Jay did a great story in this last week's issue about Skin Click. Yes, their headquarters are here in Myrtle's Inlet, but guess what? They also have many outlets in Charleston, up in Greenville, and in Columbia. So that business story that started here truly impacts the entire state. And that's what our challenge is with all 4 of the bureaus, with all 4 of us, is to truly create content that impacts our entire readership. All right. What sets this apart from all the other newspapers and TV news in Horry County? You know, I think it's, personally, and I obviously am very biased, I think it's a commitment to depth. It's a commitment to asking the unasked question. I know that sounds a little weird, but as investigative journalists, we aren't chasing what will work in this moment unless it's necessary. We are chasing the stories that truly impact and change your lives and inform you of information that maybe you couldn't get or didn't know how to get otherwise. Our job is to be a public service, and that's what all journalists intend to be. We want to make sure that officials are held accountable, that schools are safe, that our area is safe, and that tough questions are asked, but also telling the beautiful side of both of these communities, of both counties, showing how incredibly innovative and inventive these areas are, and how maybe sometimes people don't realize that there is so much great content in this area that has just never been told. So we are just invested in making sure that we get that depth that every one of our readers deserves. How can we, the reader, help in your mission? It comes down to informing us of what impacts your life. If you see us in a line at the grocery store and you have an idea and it's just right there, let us know about it. We want to hear about it. That's the way that stories happen, is just being informed from the community. This week alone, we've gotten a couple of different tips from readers that we're actually now looking into for stories next week. Things that truly impact actually the health and safety of our community came from you. We would have never known otherwise. So you're our eyes and ears out there. We want to hear from you, and then use our ability to kind of sit back and then investigate it for you. Will coverage area, will we cover all of Horry County or just along the coast? And that comes from Renee. All of Horry County, even the rural areas, there's so much interesting content within the county that we're going to get to everything we possibly can. And obviously some of the more obvious stories, especially with weather coming through, are going to be more coastal related, but we haven't forgotten about anybody, and we're going to continue to invest in getting deeper and deeper into these counties. All right, from Anonymous, will you be meeting with tourism directors in Georgetown County and Myrtle Beach so that you're on top of marketing efforts? Georgetown County is marketed much differently than Myrtle Beach. I think this would be a good idea. Absolutely. Between myself and Jay and the rest of the staff, we are part of Zoom calls. We're trying to make as many phone calls as we humanly can. We're trying to connect to you. So we will definitely continue to do that. And where's the newspaper sold? And that's coming from Anonymous. We have more than 80 different single copy areas. I don't have a map to show you right now. We'll make sure that we provide that for you online. If you again want to reach out to customer service or to me, I can make sure you understand where your nearest outlet is to pick it up. But we are all over the place and committed to, if it continues to sell, we'll continue to expand where those are at. Let's see here. Will Andrew's news be covered? Absolutely. Actually, I personally did a story on a little girl that survived a near drowning based out of Andrews. And it is an area that is still very important to us, and we will continue to look into stories in that area. Thanks for that question, Althea. With that, we're going to keep the Q&A open, and we'll continue to answer questions. I know actually we've run a little bit past time here with the webinar, but I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. I know the entire staff appreciates this connection to you. We hope to do more of these in the future. We'll continue to answer your questions. My email is always open. All of the reporters love hearing from you, so please feel free to continue to send us questions. We'll get you answers, and you know, we hope that through our journalism that you will become a subscriber. What we do has tremendous value, and we want to prove that to you. And so we appreciate you taking the time today to visit with us and get to know us. But really, it's about the next step. We can't wait to continue that relationship. We can't wait to show how we can be an impactful part of your life, and that we are just somebody who you rely upon to make sure that you're always informed. All right, we have some more questions here, and I thought it was really important that we make sure we address them all. From Kathleen. What took you so long to come to Myrtle Beach as a printed media outlet? Well, you know, as they say, they save the best for last. And honestly, it just was about time. We saw an opportunity here in Myrtle Beach, which, you know, in some ways we looked at it as a news desert when it came to printed media and to digital media, and just felt like it was time to expand our horizons. You can't tell the statewide story without getting into Myrtle Beach. Myrtle Beach is just so important to the overall structure of the state, what it means to the tourism industry, what it means to state and local level politics. So, you know, at the Post and Courier, we had to add this into our arsenal in order for us to truly cover the state as we needed to. All right, so let's see here. What other questions did we have? What do I love about my job? That came from Dama. You know, honestly, this is going to sound maybe a bit odd, but it's painting the picture of our communities. I think it's so important that so many news outlets have forgotten that they're ultimately a reflection of their community. And so being offered the opportunity to paint this picture, there's just no way that I could ever pass that up. And so I enjoy helping tell those stories, both positive and negative. I'm a very positive person, but I also know the impact that we can have with our journalism. So I love painting that picture. Let's see here. I think we might have one more. And let's see here. Are some of the Georgetown Times column writers going to be included? I haven't seen them in the last 2 issues. Yes. And so what we did initially is we took the opportunity to really learn a little bit more about our audience, especially with an expansion. And then taking a step back to see what we wanted to reinstitute, get back in the paper, and other things that we might evolve and transform into something different. So yes, those columnists will be coming back. We're looking at probably early September before doing so. But we love those voices too. And so we'd be foolish not to have them involved. We just need to look at how they fit into the new structure. Can we reach you through the app for breaking news, ideas, or community events? Yes. And honestly, we want to cover that breaking news and those events. And so emailing me directly at nmasuda@postandcourier.com, I'll make sure that we get somebody out there, or we look at it from a perspective of how does this fit into maybe a bigger story that we're telling. So please always feel free to email me. I literally answer emails around the clock 24/7. So it's important to me that you get those ideas coming in. Will you regularly be covering food and restaurants in Myrtle Beach with reviews and recommendations? Yes. Now, in terms of reviews and recommendations, we're going to build towards that. Jay and myself, we're looking at first really looking at the business aspect of food and dining and restaurants in this area, especially with the lack of tourism that's happening this season. So we want to tackle that part first. And as the economy starts to recover and we see more people actually enjoying meals within the restaurants, then we believe that food reviews and recommendations will really be relevant. But we first want to tell the story that's kind of in this moment that we need to dive into deeper. And let's see here. I think that is actually.
Hey, Nick, we do have one last question. The anonymous attendee asks, you talk about Georgetown County being an important part of this newspaper and that you will include Georgetown, but why does your logo behind you only say Myrtle Beach?
Well, I think that, and then that's a very valid and fair question. As part of us getting our name out there to make sure that people understand that we're expanding into Myrtle Beach, that logo is incredibly important. But when you see the piece of paper that we sell every single week, that's there all week long, what was important to us was to make sure that Georgetown Times was right there. That it's right there, equal to the Myrtle Beach. Again, let me say that again. It's equal to the Myrtle Beach. They're both created equal. There are no favorites. I'm not dad that's playing favorites with their kids. It is so important to us that we dive into both communities. And we might do some things differently, but ultimately the public service aspect for both of these communities is incredibly paramount to us. And so we will continue to do right by Georgetown County. Like I said, we have somebody who lives here, our office is here, and we're going to continue to invest more time here with the expanded staff. It really allows us to dive deeper into issues that maybe before we couldn't get to, but now we will. With that, I think that this, what I felt from this conversation was that maybe Georgetown feels like maybe they're getting left out a little bit. And I can tell you from the bottom of my heart, I enjoy the 45 miles driving into Georgetown just so I can get here and experience what Georgetown is and what the Georgetown Times represented for this community. And that will continue. That's not going anywhere. All we're doing is we're now adding in an entirely new area in Myrtle Beach that is not served. Just like I know you're worried that maybe Georgetown won't be served in the same way, Myrtle Beach in many ways is not served at all. And so now we're going to serve both communities to the best of our ability. And the staff that we built here is the best in the business. And in this state, people truly care about journalism. I've seen that since the day I got here. And so to have this team, to be able to lead this team, to be able to watch this team work, we're going to be out there doing our job for you. One thing that people have said is that, well, you're located in Georgetown. Yes, we have this beautiful office here right on the marina, and I'm in awe of it. But ultimately, our office is where our feet are, and our feet are going to be all over both of these counties. So my commitment to you is that you're going to pick up this paper every week, and you're going to be surprised by the content. But it's going to be predictable because it's always going to be great, that it's going to dive into issues that you care about. And ultimately, as journalists, that's our job. And I can't wait for you to see it. We're just now getting started. And as you can tell, I'm super pumped about where we're headed. So thank you guys for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. And I can't wait for the next one. The Post and Courier got involved in Myrtle Beach because we see an opportunity to truly dive into the community that's growing in crazy ways. And so we look at it as a chance for us to put that Post and Courier brand behind a city that deserves it. Being family owned, it means that I know that ultimately I can go to our bosses and pitch a community idea that's out there and have an open ear, have an open heart and an open mind. That means everything. Yes, you can get information for free. You can, but can you trust it? What we do has value because we're investing in the best reporters in the land. That'll be a cost that you gladly take on because you're always feeling informed about your own community.